Okay, hi there. This is Heidi O'Brien, and I am here to interview one of my wonderful yoga instructors at McMaster in our instructional programs. And her name is Jenn Stanley. And I'm going to be, hi Jen! And
Hello.
I'm going to be asking her some questions about her involvement with McMaster. We have all kinds of fantastic instructors, and she's one of them. So Jen, just to get us going, how did you get started in teaching yoga at McMaster, and or how did you get started in yoga, and then how did you end up teaching at Mac?
Yeah, so I actually started taking yoga classes in late 2013 due to shoulder injuries, and my doctor actually suggested it as a good idea to get, some lengthening and strengthening of those muscles, and I just fell in love with it. And so developed a regular yoga practice, and then fast forward 5 years and I decided that I wanted to take a teacher training class. So I did that and graduated in June of 2018, and I've been teaching several classes a week ever since then, kind of much to my surprise.
Yeah, well, awesome. And you started, I think you got someone through McMaster's Healthy Workplace may have recommended you try and approach us in Half-Rap. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah, we've got, there's a lot of great programs at McMaster, and a friend of mine was taking one of the offerings, and she said, oh, you should see if you can, get connected with that. And so I did, and down through the channels it went, and my name landed on your desk, and now here I am.
Lucky for us. So that's great. And I know you've done a lot of training, and you're really involved right now in all kinds of aspects through McMaster, which is wonderful. So now that you're getting busier with yoga, but you can tell us about your position at McMaster otherwise, and then let us know how you balance your life as a yoga instructor with your other life. You got other work life, you've got family life. How do you make that all work for you?
Yeah, I work for the genetics department in the Department of Pediatrics in McMaster Children's Hospital. And so that is for me a part-time job. So I'm 3 days a week with that. And then I teach anywhere from about 6 to 10 classes a week at various studios in Hamilton, plus the McMaster MacRecreation department and occupational development. And then, yes, have my husband and 2 dogs at home. So really for me, it's just scheduling. I'm kind of a type A person, and I like to have everything mapped out in my calendar each week, and everything is just an appointment. So if I'm at my McMaster, at my day job, if you will, that's in my calendar. All of my teachings in my calendar, things that I do, classes that are just personally for me, where someone else is leading me, those are all appointments the same way that the dentist is or the doctor is. So that seems to work for me, just making sure that I keep a schedule and planning really far ahead.
Yeah, oh, fantastic. Good. And you love it. So I'm sure when
Absolutely.
you're yoga in, it's sort of mixed where it's work, but it's play at the same time, right? Kind of thing.
That's right. Yeah. Yoga for me, that's my passion. So it's not even a job for me when I'm showing up to teach. There's friends there and lots of great relationships. So it's kind of as much a social aspect for me as it is a job.
Yes.
To be teaching.
Yeah, and good for your health, obviously. So,
absolutely.
I mean, that kind of ties into my next question, sort of what keeps you motivated to keep teaching, and then how do you share that to keep your students motivated to continue or, get started kind of thing in yoga?
Well, I think what keeps me motivated is just the feedback that I get from my students when I teach a class, and at the end when they come up to me and say, oh, well, this pose that we did, my hip was bothering me when I came here today, and then we did thread the needle pose, and now it's feeling so much better. Just that knowing that what I'm guiding people to do actually does have positive benefits, that they are actually getting something out of the class. It's not just me talking for an hour and hoping everything works out. I actually get that, positive feedback that people are really, really getting a benefit of taking yoga classes.
Right. Yeah. So you really believe in your product, basically.
Absolutely. Yeah. And for myself as well, that shoulder issue that originally took me in 2013 to a yoga class did resolve itself over time, and with the, you know, a lot of work and learning what specifically to do for that area of my body, you know, I don't have the issue anymore. So definitely lots of positive net benefit with coming to yoga.
Fantastic. Well, yeah, you don't have to convince me, that's for sure. I'm a converted yogi myself, I have to say. I didn't do it in the past, but I can't say enough good things about it now. So
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
and it's so great as a complement to other activities. So that's why we like to promote it to people who are maybe runners or who cyclists,
Yes.
swimmers, different things. It's such a good complement to those activities. Which,
Absolutely. And that was how it was a result of swimming that I developed these shoulder issues. So now I'm obviously much more balanced. At the time all I was doing was swimming. There was no sort of complementary activity to that. So now I do try to be much more balanced in, you know, yoga and weightlifting, yoga and bike riding. There's got to be a little bit of give and take with that so that you're not stressing your body too much from one particular activity.
and then like there's the whole mindfulness side to the yoga too. I know there's always a component at the end usually where we really do sort of, you want to tell us a little bit about that last little part of the class often that's so helpful to so many?
Yes. So we always start and end our classes in Shavasana. And that's basically just a few minutes at the opening of the class and at the end of the class, just breathing. That's really all we're doing, and just allowing the mind to just be free to just take everything that you've done during your class and just letting your body kind of process that a little bit. Just calm yourself down before you have to go out and do whatever's on your to-do list for the rest of the day. And that's just an example. Our Shavasana at the end of class is usually just a few minutes, like maybe 2 to 4 minutes. But then there's also the chance to do more mindfulness. So we would do maybe a 10 or a 15 or a half-hour session of meditation as well. If you really were carrying around maybe a lot of anxiety, or you really just needed to just get yourself out, take a step back. There's lots of things that we can do related to mindfulness, meditation, breathing, just to really help with your nervous system, to help you maybe calm down at the end of your day if you're particularly stressed. So lots of opportunities and lots of options.
Yeah, fantastic. Do you have any special stories or moments that particularly may stand out to you in the times that you've been to your practice, the times that you've been teaching? Anything in particular, maybe something somebody said to you, or kind of, I don't know, or your own personal sort of wow moment kind of?
Yeah. I think, so this last summer of 2019, so that was about a year into when I had started teaching after becoming certified. And I try to make an effort in my teaching to use in my training, it's called direct language or direct speech, so that people can really understand what you want them to do. So place your right hand on the floor. Step your left foot back. Like just being very specific and very simple with your instructions so people can follow. And I was guiding actually it was a free yoga in the park, so anybody could show up. And at the end of the class, this woman came up to me and she said, I want you to know, she said, I brought my friend. And she said, my friend is legally blind and she was able to follow your class from start to finish. She got caught up a couple of times, but then she figured it out from what you were saying, so that she was able to actually do the class, not seeing what I was doing, not being able to glance over at her friend and kind of, sneak that peek of what's the person next to me doing.
Right.
Just was able to take the class from what I had verbally instructed. And that was just, it's still probably the greatest moment. Not that I've had a particularly long teaching career. It's been just about 2 years, but just what a wonderful thing to know that somebody was able to follow my words.
Yeah.
With no, visual cues at all. So that was really a really great moment for me.
Like a goosebump moment.
Absolutely. Yeah. It was great.
Well, that's wonderful. I'm sure you're going to have many more as your life as a yoga instructor and everything else continues. So, and we're certainly glad to have you teaching for us at McMaster, I have to say. So did you want to have, do you have any words of advice or maybe one little short demo pose or just a little sample to help maybe show someone who's never even done yoga before, just to give us a little short idea, not a class, it's just one little pose or something?
Sure.
Okay.
My big thing is that yoga really is for everybody. And for people that say, you know, well, I'm really stiff, I can't do yoga. Those are exactly the people that I really hope would want to come and give a class a try. Yoga is not all handstands and contorting yourself and Instagram photos and everybody's all perfect and airbrushed and beautiful. Yoga is really at its core, it is movement and it is breathing. And something that I like to do, and I can kind of show you here because I don't have tons of space, but something very simple that you can do for yourself as a student who is spending a lot of time sitting over a computer, as our McMaster staff who are always at their computers and typing and we're rounded forward, is just to bring your hands behind your waist and just place your palms where your jean pockets would be. And then you would just pull together your shoulder blades, pull your elbows together, and just gently lift your gaze. And so what we're doing in this pose is we're opening the heart. We're opening across the front of the chest. So the pectoral muscles and these little muscles in the front of the shoulders that get kind of short and tight because we're spending all of our time doing this. We're just bringing some space into the front of the shoulders and across the front of the chest. And there's really, it's such a simple movement, but it is so incredibly beneficial. And this is the kind of yoga that I want people to know about, not the crazy stuff, not the handstands and the perfectly coiffed people. It's everybody moving and breathing. And that's exactly what yoga is.
Fantastic. And that's a great message because we do want things to be for everyone. And that you can start from really zero, and there's almost everybody is going to benefit to some degree. And you're right, there's so many different levels of yoga. And I think what I like to tell people as a coordinator is to make sure you try different classes because there are many different styles. And if you go into a more advanced class unwittingly, first, you may decide you're never doing yoga again because it can be pretty challenging, right? Kind of like, wow, that should be
Yep.
But if you go into a class as well is going to, a more beginner class, it's really a wonderful experience and you can grow in there. So thanks again, Jenn, for taking the time to speak with us today. I really appreciate it.
Welcome.
And we look forward to seeing you again soon.
Soon.
Okay.
Thank you for coming to visit me in the virtual world.
Okay. Take care. Have a wonderful day.
Thanks, you too, Heidi.
Okay.
Bye, guys.